Chris, first off, how are you? And I'll also couple that with how is Terry Francona doing at this moment as he wasn't at the game yesterday?
I'm doing well, guys. As you all know, each day's a new adjustment for us, but we're doing well and starting to fall into a little bit of a routine. With respect to Tito, he's back in Cleveland. He actually has some doctor's appointments here this afternoon. He's feeling okay, but we want to get him checked out and get him back feeling better.
Hey, Chris, John Heyman here. Your starting pitching has been fantastic. Your hitting hasn't been quite up to your usual standard to this point. I liked your team. I thought your team was underrated because of that pitching. It's been even better than I expected. A little surprised you're only 5-5. What do you think so far? What's your assessment of what's gone on the field to this point?
You highlighted it well, John. I think our pitching staff has done an extraordinary job in limiting runs. Our starters have pitched deep into the games, for the most part held oppositions to a few runs or just a couple of runs. And our bullpen's done a good job of putting up zeros as well. We just haven't yet found our stride offensively. But we know that'll come. We've got a good group of hitters. They just haven't hit their stride yet.
I'm curious, Chris. I know that the trade deadline is this month. So are there texts, are there calls going on with other front office members amidst all of the chaos and the busyness going on with your own team? Do you say, hey, is so-and-so available? We're thinking about him.
So the last few months have caused us to be in touch with our peers quite a bit, just trying to navigate collectively all of the extraordinary circumstances we're working through. And in those conversations, we'll touch upon some trade topics, and for the most part, there have been a few minor trades, and we've had some discussions around those on our end. But I don't expect the more significant trade conversations to heat up for another week or two.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about your rotation. 1 through 5, I think it's probably the best in the game. Bieber and Clevenger right at the top, fantastic. But the other 3 guys have looked great too. What have you seen so far? Any of them surprise you to this point? And I want to zero in a little bit on Zach Plesac as a favorite of ours here due to Dan. They look like opposites. I don't know Zach, but Dan's a very steady Midwestern kind of guy, even though he's the left-hander. Can you tell me a little bit more about Zach and the rotation so far?
Sure. I think one thing that Dan and Zach do have in common is incredible competitiveness. Zach is among the best competitors that we have. Gets out there on the mound and finds a way to compete. Most of the time, that's when he has his good stuff, and when he pairs his competitiveness with his best stuff, he's got a chance to pitch like he did in his first start. But he put in a ton of work over the course of this offseason trying to refine his delivery to allow him to get in better positions to execute his pitches more consistently and with more power. And we saw those results in his first start and are looking forward to him continuing that tonight here in Cincinnati.
Fill in the blank for us, continuing on the rotation. Shane Bieber wins the American League Cy Young if?
He stays healthy and there's a Cy Young award.
That's a good call. What about stuff-wise? When is he at his best on the mound? Can you tell from the first few pitches that this is going to be a great one?
Shane is just so consistent with all of his work in between and the way he prepares for each start. And, when you see him attacking the zone the way he's capable of, and now he continues to develop his secondary pitches, and he's got a full array that he's comfortable throwing in any count. He can vary the shape of his breaking ball. He spent a lot of time this offseason working on his changeup, and he's always had elite fastball command. And when you put those ingredients together, along with his work ethic, his competitiveness, and his preparation, more often than not, we expect to do pretty well when he's on the mound.
We couldn't have a conversation with you without me asking you about Frankie Lindor, one of the best players in the game. I know you guys have tried, not just at Brody Chernoff, your GM's son's insistence. You've tried to keep this player. Do you feel there's any chance to sign him long term? And is there any chance that the Indians end up trading him at the deadline this year?
I'll always be hopeful that that's the case, John, that we'll be able to extend Francisco's time in Cleveland. That's always been our preference. I think we've been pretty clear about that. I would say right now all of our collective efforts are on the field and trying to get us through what are incredible and unique circumstances. And, and Francisco's a big part of our team, and we obviously want to do everything we can to win as many games as possible this year and then, see where we are at the end of the season.
So let's do one about the field, specifically the extra inning rule. We've been surveying managers, front office members. It seems like we're seeing a tilt as the games play out, the excitement, the strategy. Are you on board with what we've been seeing in extras?
I think generally speaking, I'm probably among more progressive in thinking about opportunities to at least experiment with things, especially during this season where everything is unique. So what I do believe is that by the end of the year, we will have tried a handful of different rules and a handful of different playing environments, and we'll be able to reflect back and see what we think might work. With respect to the extra inning rule specifically, I've liked it in the minor leagues. I think, one of our worst nightmares is, in our positions is trying to navigate an 18-inning game. While it may be fun and create excitement in the moment, it really impacts a team for the better part of the following week when you try to get your pitching back in order. So from a roster construction team building standpoint, I'm certainly in favor of it, and I do like some of the competitive elements it adds as well.